Ну, тут процентов 99,9 Digital House, конечно, наберут за щеку, потому что Resolution на Джиггернауте не очень хороший. Для чего Darkseer тоже не очень понятно. Не совсем им заходит. Пик у NewBee более агрессивный, более работающий, нежели Digital House. Так, Руби хочет, видимо, Куру подцепить. В Куре у нас тоже фласка для СФа. Итак. Красавчик. Просто красавчик. В это время, конечно, забирает у нас Дарксира, что неудивительно.
I'm not sure if NewBee want to go for tier 2s just yet. I think they need to wait for the BKB on the SF and then the Luna Manta. They'll have really good
Got the vision. Blink crush forward, going over on Kaka, but there's a lot of friends behind.
Yeah. That's the thing, is NewBee always seem to be able to have these lineups that allow them to push out side lanes while still maintaining a 5-man vigil. And that allows them to be able to, if they can take an early lead thanks to some of their aggressive maneuvers as a team, if they can take that lead, then they have very few times where they leak away any extra gold due to picks, because they just stay this constant 5-man. There's no easy openings for DC to make that recovery goal.
Oh, where are we off to? Underlord is going down to bottom lane, so they're just going to start pushing towards the bottom tier 2 tower. I love this little Sata, which is just hovering around with U9. You talk about that early pickup, but Slaughter can't even get his corrosive haze onto any hero. There's no big burst damage. Now Slaughter is in fact the one to get burst damage down. They commit the Eclipse, and Misery is toast.
The Eclipse is going to be on cooldown for a while, so I think DC can still be aggressive, especially since they know the Underlord ultimate went bottom.
Taka's leaving. Taka is actually leaving. U9 has to start running back to the tier 2.
He's got the Seder Banisher in place.
And then sees DC's maneuver.
Yeah, he was going to get out either way, but U9 just took that extra step to make sure he wasn't going to be caught by the rotation. Now this means, because of that failed movement by DC, it means NewBee's push at the bottom lane is going to be all the more effective. What's DC do? I think if they can't actually rotate bottom and save that, I think they just try and get as much damage on the tier 2 top in exchange.
Well, we talked about how DC don't really, well, trade that well. At least with Resolution there, they can trade decently. But the damage coming out from SD at the moment is already over 200 each hit, and he's not even getting up to the extra talent tree levels.
Yeah, they're committing like all 3 of their cores to taking this tier 2 tower. Meanwhile, NewBee took that bottom tier 2 without U9. He was just kind of like doing some ancient farming, general farm efficiency, because he knows he's not needed. He just needs to make the best of the space that's created for him.
And that farm efficiency is paying off. 6,000 gold and experience is now the advantage for NewBee. So not a bad figure to have. 19 minutes in for a bit of a lower killer game than we're used to. 14 kills over the course of almost 20 minutes.
This OD's feeling pretty lackluster. Sitting at only 8,200. He's got Blink Dagger now, but
maybe he'll feel a little bit more confident once he's got that second maneuverability item. Like having Blink plus Atos, finishing up the range item to have that full Hurricane Pike to go with the Dragon Lance. Through the Dragon Lance.
We got the Manta pretty soon for U9, so the combination of Underlord and Manta Luna, these side lanes really should never be able to threaten a tier 2 tower again unless NewBee is making some sort of really efficient play. DC, what do they do here? Because they're not going to be able to really heavily split push. I don't think they're prepared to be able to defend their tier 2s, but then again, it is the last remaining tier 2. You can't give up shrines. You can't give up that critical map control this early on in the game.
They're starting their TPs, but NewBee are all in position to fight this. They've got Nalful behind him. The damage aura is just beautiful. Kaka's got his range initiation. You got a lot of survivability on everybody, including that fresh Solar Crest the Underlord just picked up, and yeah, they let it go. Resolution adds a little bit of pressure to bottom lane, but unlike last game, he doesn't push very quickly.
I think they're hoping NewBee would just make a mistake in their positioning, but DC didn't see one, so they were like, okay, we have to finish this fight, which means we have to give up Shrine. Ooh, this play back into the top lane is interesting.
Oh, the sentry wards are there for the forest, right? They wind up, and Darkseer can't survive Misery. The BKB, SD got it off, so Misery's crush has no effect. The last attack Misery will do the work, and a quick TP out. Not enough Triss to help. They get 2 kills and get away with murder.
That was pretty cool. I like that so much. Like NewBee, they make this play, they like go for the shrine and immediately Dark Rift, but they keep 2 of their heroes out of it and just keep this really surprising. Like I'm sure DC were like, wait, what? Where the 2 heroes are still in the top lane. They make the free gank in, manage to pick up the Darkseer as well as the Slardar and still get out because of this BKB.
And you can see the reaction time. He's in there with the sentry ward. Yes, we're still 2 minutes away from daytime, so the vision was very, very tight. But still, Digital Chaos losing heroes like this now gives NewBee even more map control. DC, well, that's Moon TPing out to the shrine right behind KP.
Yeah, he wants to stop this bottom lane push, and they want to maintain control of their jungle. they can't give up the shrine. Like I was saying, like they can't give up tier 2 because it just means the shrines start disappearing.
They found Faith. He's more of a sacrifice than anything else. Faith trying to get that Maledict off in any kind of follow-up, but yeah, that ain't happening. And in fact, all he did is actually give it over to the Rubik.
I think DC have to be very precise with their movement. Can't afford any pickoffs or anything like that, and they have to always be able to read what NewBee's plan is in order to keep this bottom shrine up. It like, in some ways, it's inevitability that they're going to make that mistake, or NewBee are just going to be able to outposition them, get some sort of smoke gank, and then turn that into an advantage that promises that tier 2's destruction. But it's such a critical point of map control in a lineup that DC is still, they're not ready to fight, and they're also not ready to just sit in their base and let gold trickle into them. They need to be able to farm, but NewBee is very rapidly looking like they're going to push in all of the lanes constantly. They're going to be able to farm to their heart's delight, take Roshan whenever they need to. It's beginning to look like the way DC was controlling Game 2, actually, with that Naga Siren.
Roshan is actually where NewBee's looking now. I've watched this Alpha Wolf, which is currently sitting inside the pit, trade owners 3 times. It started on the Luna, then Resolution got hold of it, and then it went back over to the Luna. Is currently scouting for NewBee. The battle of the Doms. NewBee looking in a very, very good position if DC want to fight this, and everyone, like it's all 10 players hovering around this mid lane.
I'm not sure if they have enough of this team fight power. Like, they have to get a really good blink vacuum into a blink crush. The wall sent down. Weehawk gets a couple of right clicks in and maybe drops the Sanity's Eclipse.
Well, we'll find if they can get the positioning. It's NewBee who are the ones to smoke up to start with. They're going to wrap around, and they found their target. It's Resolution. It's a big one, but he gets away. Under the cover of Spin. Parker.
Oh, there it is.
It's jumping. It's jumping. Genting winding up the ulti and just instantly hits back. But Odie has to defensively imprison. It's the only way to save up himself, but now it's still not enough. Straight to the death ward. It doesn't work. The only flash, however, finally Resolution gets some damage out. The paralyzing cast negated by the spin, but Moon trapped in the tree line, trying to get away with the Burrow Strike. Karka puts himself actually almost trapped. There's a small path to freedom, allowing now Moon to run away, and again Karka missing the blink. He doesn't get down to Moon. That could have actually been a lot more of a catastrophe for DC.
Oh, I mean, DC, they hit like that perfect kind of initiation. Moon Meander saw the opening. Despite the fact that the Juggernaut had been forced away, he said, this is a good shot. We need to be able to try and fight around this shrine. He goes for this beautiful vacuum into the crush, into the OD ultimate being dropped. But ultimately, the sustain of the Underlord does make a big difference. He pops the heal. None of these heroes are low enough for them to be able to quickly kill. Like, the Luna's able to freely get off this big Eclipse. It keeps most of DC at bay. And
same thing with their scene, like the second that damage reduction kicked in, you're like, oh, what's DC gonna do now?
Yeah.
Like you had nothing to do, and the only thing they really had was the Juggernaut battling and the heroes so far away, like the corrosive haze on them, that they had enough damage to get through them.
Careful, Resolution.
They try to trade owners again, and now, well, it's actually the Rubik.
Oh, that's a BKB used.
Yeah, maybe not the greatest thing in the world, but
Probably still needs Roshan for free, though.
unless they want to have a crack at it.
I think
DC didn't have vision of the BKB being used.
it's tough because DC is seeing like, okay, we do have to contest them, but similarly, it's an impossible task sometimes to contest them. They have to pick and choose their fights really carefully, like how they rotated up to that top tier 2 and then decided against it. They saw, okay, they're really well positioned, that they're letting SC just beat down the tier 2. We can't go for it. And then they also saw the opening around that shrine. It didn't work out for them, but it was an opening that they determined this is the fight we take. It's a tricky game that DC is playing. You know, picking and choosing their fights like this, because split pushing is just not, it's not going to be enough. You know, they can't just play a split push game and be happy with that. The power of the Underlord allows you to be able to quickly 5-man into objectives and then still back up as a team, because even if like DC try and force an engagement defending, you just pop your ultimate, go to that side lane that's being pushed in, and you've got some free chip damage at least.
U9 was hovering around the top. I think he might have found an opening, but not quite. They'd have to bring a lot of help to him in the form of probably the Underworld's TP.
You know, it's funny, the last time that DC faced up against this Underlord, it was kind of a similar scenario. They did everything they could to be able to counter this hero, but then we saw in, like, they had this fight around a mid-tier 1 tower, that the Underlord was still so good that even though they got a really good initiation and everything, the Underlord made such a big difference in the team fights. And they even picked up certain heroes similar. I think they had both an Ursa and an OD, heroes that are able to provide extra sources of damage that are not reduced by the atrophy aura. You know, OD is able to obviously do a lot with his arcane orbs, and then Ursa had his fury swipes.
Good ways around it, but they still need to survive long enough to actually get the damage off in a fight. And the Underlord is still only one piece of this very large puzzle that NewBee is. So DC, for now they're keeping the status quo. For now they're just staying on their side of the river, keeping the farm up, and then waiting for NewBee to make a big play. But NewBee is starting to pull in more ICU. You had that butterfly, which just got picked up over on the SF.
Oh,
wow. He's still going to get hit. The spin up. The SK is going to be grounded in a second. With the spin, they push it down a little bit further forward with more stuff. And it's just retreat now for DC if they can. The Boris strike again. Kaka goes in, loses the beam, defensive imprisonment. This guy's going to wait the time down. AP trying to catch the back line. SK will Boris strike up, but the attack from the SF still follows the through down on this. They move up the back. But where's the damage? SC rips the ulti out, turns his attention over towards Weeha. It's a double kill for SC. They're starting to farm up the illusions in the wall. There's also time to move to the mid lane.
A slight misread there. I think KP was a bit out of position. Resolution thought maybe I can actually just omni-slash this hero and then spin as I kill him. I spin and run back and I'll just be able to get away. But unfortunately, the rest of NewBee were able to get there in time. All of a sudden, it's omni-slash. Pounces go deeper and deeper into NewBee's team, and that just kind of forced Moodman to make an initiation. But
a difficult hold. OG had to finish buyback. He was the only person. Now he jumped on enough money to get buyback. They jump forward as he tried to stand his ground. Remember, he's got the Aegis, the BKB from Moon Knight triggers, and with the tower down, the Glaive will start to bounce. There's going to be a lot of damage going through the line of DC, especially when Kaka gets the Forest Strike. Weeha, it's a die back for him. You can say goodbye to Rubik. This SF is going beyond godlike. They'll claim the mid-rank, and now with all the tier 2 towers down, you know what they're going to do? They're going to destroy it and actually get the GG call out from DC. Very efficient, very crisp from NewBee.
I think DC learned a pretty important lesson. Last time they faced up against the Underlord, they got a 1v1 scenario, and they had some pretty good heroes to be able to deal with it. It almost won.